Communications Incorporated. Good afternoon and welcome to King's News, Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Friday, August 1, 2025, and I'm Chairman Dia presenting in the Airlines House of Representatives Suspense Operation of Liberia Traffic Management, orders Ministry of Transport to resume all transport-related regulations as dozens of Liberians, including employees of the Ministry of Transport, celebrate in Monrovia. Office of the Ombudsman demands suspension of 41 members of the National Legislature for failure to declare their assets. Councillor Finley Kanga says salaries of the 41 lawmakers must be redirected to public programs. In the news this afternoon, renowned human rights lawyer and political leader of Liberian People Party criticizes President Joseph Boakai proclaimed national fast and prayer for government. Councillor Tiawan Gonglo tells the president to exert political will, transparency, and accountability for the country's transformation. Away from home, Barcelona players will have the Arrow Congo, Heart of Africa, inscribed on the back of their training sites from the start of next season after the top Spanish football team agreed on a full-year deal with the Central African country. Drastic cuts to humanitarian aid in northeastern Nigeria could prove a boon to one of the world's most deadly militant groups, Boko Haram, its agencies have said. These plus the news bulletin, voices of those making the news at our package. We'll take a short break to be right back. At this juncture, we join Stephen Compton with the news bulletin.
Representatives has mandated the Ministry of Transport to resume its full statutory responsibilities, especially the motor vehicle registration, issuance of driver's license, and enforcement of all transportation-related regulations in collaboration with the Liberia National Police. The lower house decision was prompted based on the House's Joint Committee on Investment and Concession and Transport. However, the plenary of the House of Representatives also suspended operation of the Liberia Traffic Management bearing it from carrying out any traffic management related activities. According to the Joint Committee, the management of LTM failed to appear for an investigation hearing on Thursday in response to a petition filed by aggrieved employees of the Ministry of Transport regarding concerns over the concession granted to LTM. Bon County District 7 Representative Foley Famule, who read the Joint Committee's report, noted that despite all invited parties holding the committee's summons, LTN failed to appear without providing any written excuse, steering the progress of the investigation. At the same time, the committee has issued a stay order on all operations of the Liberia Traffic Management pending a full investigative review of the concession agreement. The committee ordered the chief clerk of the House to formally communicate the decision to relevant authorities. Additionally, the Inspector General of the police has been mandated to assist the Ministry of Transport in enforcing Liberia's motor vehicle and traffic law in the absence of the LTM. Meanwhile, the Liberia Traffic Management and its legal counsel have been summoned to appear before the Joint Committee on Monday, August 4, to respond to charges of contempt for repeated failure to comply with legislative summons. Meanwhile, hundreds of Liberians took to the street on Thursday afternoon in collaboration after the House of Representatives ordered an immediate halt to all operation involving the 25 years controversial contract awarded to the Liberia Traffic Management, a Lebanon-owned company. The move comes after commercial driver and employees of the Ministry of Transport formally petitioned the 55th legislature, both the House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate, calling for the termination of all agreements with LTM. The petitioners cited what they described as serious national security implications linked to the company's operation. In separate but coordinated petition, commercial drivers from across Monserrate, Margibit, and Grand Bassa counties and employees of the Ministry of Transport accused LTN of harassment, intimidation, and abusive conduct. The complaints further alleged that agents of LTM, in collaboration with officers of the Liberia National Police, have been involved in extorting drivers and violating citizens' rights under the traffic management law. The Ministry of Transport employees further claimed that LTM have linked to a Lebanese rebel group reportedly named Haboza. In response to growing pressure following a public hearing with LTM executives, the House's Joint Committee on Investment, Petition and Chairs heard of LTM operation in Liberia until further notice. The suspension is being hailed by many as a victory for citizens' rights and government accountability. The Office of the Ombudsman has named 41 members of the national legislature as legislators who have violated the code of conduct by failing to declare their assets. Those named include 12 senators and 29 representatives. Head of the Office of the Ombudsman, Councillor Finney Kangad, who spoke at Minka press briefing Thursday, recommended immediate suspension of all non-compliant lawmakers without pay until they declare their assets. He noted that the lawmakers' salary should be redirected to the public programs. The 12 senators who have refused to declare include Senator Ellis Taylor, Simeon Taylor, Boto Cannon, Zoe Emmanuel Peno, Thomas Yaya Nemnen, Wellington Jevon Smith, Creighton Duncan, Nimene Batikwa, James Bannon, Sir Joseph, Samuel Koga, among others. According to him, the 29 representatives have not been publicly named, adding that their names have been submitted to Speaker Richie Coon for suspension. Renowned human rights lawyer and political leader of the Liberian People's Party has criticized President Joseph Boakai proclaimed national fasting and prayer for the government. In a statement issued on his official Facebook page Thursday, Councillor Tiawon Gonglu alleged that challenged the Liberian leader to exert political will, not just prayer and fasting, in transforming the country. According to Councillor Gonglo, from 1847 to 2025, Liberia remained heavily dependent on the export of raw materials, including wood, rubber, iron ore, gold, and diamond, a pattern he said has now changed after 178 years of independence. The LPP political leader said despite being blessed with rich natural resources, Liberia is still one of the poorest countries in the world, adding that citizens have been praying and fasting for the nation even before 1847. He added that the best way to develop Liberia is to aggressively fight corruption and ensure transparencies, emphasizing that Liberia needs a government that will lead and shift from prayer to planning, from fasting to factories, and from summons to strategies. Councillor Gonglod further noted that while prayer and fasting are good, they alone are not enough because churches and mosques can be found in nearly every town and village across the country, adding that Liberia originates political will and transformative actions oriented leadership. He mentioned that Liberia is not poor by nature, it is poorly managed. Dirt with fertilized soil for agriculture, over 40% of the rainforest of the Gulf of Guinea, vast deposit of gold, iron ore, and among other, as resilient citizens are looking for direction from their leaders. Councillor Gonglo maintained that Liberia can become a hub for economic marine tourism, climate finance through carbon credits and valued added exports like furniture, plywood, bottled water, steel, polished uh, diamond, refined gold, among other things. As there were more developments, former Morovia seated Major Jefferson Koji has accused the Unity Party-led government of intimidating what he described as a symbol of trade division and political hypocrisy. The former Morovia State Major and Secretary General of the CDC noted that at a time when Liberians are crying out for unity, accountability, and leadership, President Joseph Boakai has instead riding into what many Liberians who hope could be a national redemption into tragic deception. He added that far from being the head in chief, the Liberian leader now presides over a government marked by tribal favoritism, silence face of human rights abuses, and increasing political intolerance. Former Major Koji noted that President Joseph Boakai has reinforced division through unprecedented levels of tribal consolidation within government, appointing over 58 senior officials, many of whom are from a single tribal background of particular region. He named the Ministry of Finance the Ministry of the Liberia Immigration Service and Forces of Liberia, Central Bank of Liberia, Liberia Telecommunication Authority, among others, I among key position individual from a particular region I occupy. The CDC Secretary General stressed that the deliberate consolidation of power along tribal lines contradicts the essence of democracy and national reconciliation. He asserted that the boycott administration has shown an increasingly hostile posture towards dissenting voices, which include the right to protest, once celebrated by President Boycott himself during his years in opposition, has now been met with tear gas and police brutality under his watch. Former Minister of Public Works Ruth Concord Collins has rejected recent statement made by National Identification Registry Director Andrew Peters, which ranked her performance at the Public Works Ministry at 5%. The National Identification Registry Director, during a radio interview in Rivers County, among other things, accused the former Public Works Minister of failing to deliver on critical infrastructure goals during the Weah-led government. But in response, the former Public Works Minister described Peters' comment as misleading and inaccurate, characterizing it as part of a broader pattern of political motivated attacks intended to undermine the work of public servants who have contributed meaningfully to national development. She added that despite tight fiscal constraints and complex logistic challenges at the ministry during her tenure, there are tangible accomplishments, including nationwide road rehabilitation, infrastructure expansion, job creation, and enhanced regional connectivity. Meanwhile, the former Public Works Minister won the NRR box against it regression toward she termed rebel start policy, adding that his claims and inflammatory rhetoric statement are unsubstantiated. Madam Collins noted that on Hawaii's current ongoing infrastructure project, budgeted allocation were approved by her office, terming it as commitment to national development. And the Liberia Land Authority has officially launched and introduced a new dead deform and policy document aimed at mitigating alarming land disputes in Liberia. Delivering a special statement during the launch, Samuel Kwakao, chairman of Liberia Land Authority, said for too long, land the ownership in Liberia has been a serious national security concern. He emphasized that land dispute, if not given the needed attention, could deteriorate and degenerate into conflict, adding that the administration is working to ensure land-related disputes are resolved transparently, track revenue generation, and enhance service delivered across the 15 counties. Meanwhile, the LAA has also lifted a memorandum that was imposed on February 3 of this year on all public land transactions across the country. The decision was issued in accordance with Article 8.1A of the LLA Act of 2016, Chapter 13, Article 52.1 of the Land Rights Act of 2018, including the 2022 Land Rights Act regulation. The news bulletin is back to you, Shaba.
Stephen Compton with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories we follow in this afternoon: House of Representatives suspends operations of Liberia Traffic Management. Others Ministry of Transport will resume all transport related regulations as dozens of Liberians, including employees of the Ministry of Transport, celebrate in Monrovia. Office of the Ombudsman demands suspension of 41 members of the National Legislature for failure to declare their assets. Councillor Finekanga says salaries of the 41 lawmakers must be redirected to public programs. Renowned human rights lawyer and political leader of Liberian People Party criticizes President Joseph Wakai proclaimed national fast and prayer for government. Councillor Tiawan Gonglo tells the president to exert political will, transparency, and accountability for the country's transformation. We'll take a break to be back with Voices of the News. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The House of Representatives has mandated the Ministry of Transport to resume its full statutory responsibilities, specifically motor vehicle registration, issuance of driver's licenses, and enforcement of all transportation related regulations in collaboration with the Liberia National Police. The lower house decision was prompted based on the House's Joint Committee on Investment and Concessions and Transport report. Bon County District 7 representative for the family who read the report noted that despite all invited parties under the committee summons, LTMI failed to appear without providing written excuse, stalling the progress of the investigation.
Those in favor of the motion say yea. Yeah. Those against say nay. The motion has it. Madam Chief Clerk Office, the motion, you got the actual sense of the motion, huh? That the Chief Clerk Office communicate with the Liberian Traffic Management, the official report of this of this hearing as we continue the hearing on next Monday, and place an official stay order on the implementations of any concession thereto, and that the Ministry of Transport proceed with her regular activities while we communicate with the Ministry of Justice to work along with the Ministry of Transport. So, we all been said to our distinguished witness, it was not our intention to short circuit this investigation. We believe one of the major parties has deliberately stayed out again without any excuse impeding our work. We ask that you consistently cooperate with the investigation as we proceed, and that we can be able to act in keeping with law. With all being said, motion of adjournment.
Okay, please pray for me.
Motion of adjournment. Yeah, then moving and second that we adjourn. Locally, next year Monday.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Liberians took to the street on Thursday afternoon in celebration after the House of Representatives ordered an immediate halt to all operations involving the 25 years controversial contract awarded to the Liberia Traffic Management. Liberians celebrate.
First and foremost, we want to say thank you for coming out. Next week, Monday, we'll be here again. The hearing continues. Today, our motion was filed for traffic management to be put on hold. The committee decided that they should put stay order on them because they have disrespected the committee for the third time. How can you say you are even working in our country and you cannot respect the first branch of our government? You're trying to tell us that you are above the law, that you are lawless already. So we want to encourage all of you to the leaders of the union. We want a bigger number than this. If we stand up together, our president will look in this thing. We believe that somebody did not say the truth to the president. Now that the truth is out there, they're trying their hardest to hide it. So let us work together. Let us not stop. Let us not kill. Let us not be violent. Thank you for the last 2 days. Thank you that you are not violent. We want to say thank you, and we're not turning over to our leader from the Ministry of Transport, who's working with you in terms of the leader, the union aspect, to say a few words to you.
Today, your actions here demonstrate that indeed Liberia belongs to Liberians. Your action here today demonstrate that indeed we should control our own economy. Your actions here today demonstrate that indeed we are thinking Liberia. We are not going to waver in this struggle. All of our unions will continue to send a message out there. And if we are not convinced, Monday will re-amplify our strike action.
Yes, sir.
Will re-amplify our strike action to tell the first branch of government that indeed they are our deputies, we are their employer.
The Office of the Ombudsman has named 41 members of the National Legislatures legislators who have violated the Code of Conduct by failing to declare their assets. Those names include 12 senators and 29 representatives. Head of the Office of the Ombudsman, Councillor Fende Kanga, who spoke at MIGAD press briefing Thursday, recommended immediate suspension of all non-compliant lawmakers without pay until they declare the assets.
I'd like to bring the attention of the public to the issue of asset declaration. Asset declaration is a key requirement of our law. It requires that all those within the 3 branches of government will declare the asset. And the law requires that once you assume office, within 30 days or thereof, you should declare your asset. Despite that law, there are individuals within the 3 branches of government that actually not comply with the asset declaration regime that is being implemented by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and being monitored by the Office of the Ombudsman. We find today that there are 29 representatives that are yet to declare the asset. Because of that failure to declare the asset, we are accordingly rating the Speaker of the House of Representatives to have the representative suspended pending the declaration of the asset. And while they are suspended, their salary should be used for the public interest. We are hoping that the legislature will comply with the law because it is required. Now, all public officials are to be in obedience to the law at section 4.1 of the Code of Conduct means at all times public officials will have to abide by all laws, regulations, and norms of this country. Despite of that law, representatives have failed to declare the asset as required by law. Hence, those representative names were currently submitted to the Speaker. We expect the Speaker to comply by the ruling of the Office of the Ombudsman. Aside from members of the House of Representatives, there are senators that are yet to comply with the asset declaration, like the representative, the Ombudsman, have accordingly rating the Senate pro tem to ensure that the 12 senators who are yet to declare the asset as at July 4th will be accordingly sanctioned by the college to have them suspended until their asset will be declared.
Head of the Office of the Ombudsman, Councillor Finley Kanga. Former Minister of Public Works Ruth Cooker Collins has vehemently rejected recent statement made by National Identification Registry Director Andrew Peters, which ranked her performance at the Public Works Ministry at 5%. The National Identification Registry Director, during a radio interview in Riverside County, among other things, accused the former Public Works Minister of failing to deliver on critical infrastructure goals during the Weah-led government. But in response, the former Public Works Minister described Peters' comments as misleading and inaccurate, characterizing it as part of a broadened pattern of politically motivated attacks intended to undermine the work of public servants who have contributed meaningfully to national development.
It is unfortunate that in the heat of this development or in the heat of this progress that the country is making, some of our people have chosen to rewrite the history of their own convenience. I took note on the misleading informations or remark by your yesterday's studio guest accusing us of doing nothing or very little during our tenure as Minister of Public Works. Let me be clear, leadership is not about loud claims, it is about visible results. My track record speaks for itself. Under my leadership, we successfully implemented critical roads, infrastructure projects across Liberia. I will list just a few. Despite the limited resources and complex challenges we had, development did not just improve access, but it also created jobs, supported local economy, strengthening the connectivities of our country. The public itself is aware of the difference between real service and political noise. If a candidate had taken time to engage community on or read the performance report rather than just launching baseless attack, and it would have been better to go and make a research, because the reason why I want to dwell too much on those kind of talk, because that person was not speaking scientifically. They were just speaking, like we were in a rebel war where the rebel.
Meanwhile, the former Public Works Minister won the NRR bus against the retrogression towards the term rebel-style politics, adding that his claims and inflammatory rhetoric statement are unsubstantiated.
Just today, we are proud of Riverside is going to be receiving a major highway from Buchanan to Sesto Junction to Sesto and including to Greenfield. These are all our handiworks that were left on the decks. It's in my hand over notes. It was saddening to hear that today did the Sesto Street that was being questioned in this year budget. The government of Liberia placed in that budget $397,000 is there to continue that work. It's laying on the desk of that minister, or is laying the desk, or is in the ministry of public works. Nobody, not one person can go there and query that. I was just yesterday while making my research on the start of the project. The guy said, "But we put it in our AMET. In our AMET, we got 397,000 to be used for this year's Sesto Street pavement. Why our people are not going for it? Or was it wrong for us to highlight that Sesto City also need a city street pavement like any other city? No, because we care. So I should be in problem for something that I have. Like, I hope I will stay at the Ministry of Public Works, or I hope I stay longer time there, to be able to highlight or be able to do this thing faster. Well, I must admit there was some challenge that we faced while we broke ground for that project. And to be frank, we from the Ministry of Public Works, we don't really handle pavement, like that. The road fund take the full responsibility.
From on Public Works Minister Ruth Coker Collins. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one word. Stories you follow in this afternoon. House of Representatives suspends operations of Liberia Traffic Management. Others, Ministry of Transport to resume all transport-related regulations as dozens of Liberians, including employees of the Ministry of Transport, celebrate in Monrovia. Office of the Ombudsman demands suspension of 41 members of the National Legislature for failure to declare their assets. Councillor Finlay Kanga says salaries of the 41 lawmakers must be redirected to public programs. Renowned human rights lawyer and political leader of Liberian People Party criticizes President Joseph Boakai proclaimed national fast and prayer for government. Councillor Tier 1 Bungalow tells the president to assert political will, transparency, and accountability for the country's transformation. Away from home, Barcelona players will have the Aro Congo Heart of Africa stripped on the back of their training sites from the start of the next season after the top Spanish football team agreed on a full-year deal with the Central African country. Drastic cuts to humanitarian aid in northeastern Nigeria could prove a boon to one of the world's most deadly militant groups, Boko Haram. Aid agencies have warned. We'll take a break to continue with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Liberian Land Authorities has officially launched and introduced a new deed form and policies document aimed at mitigating alarming land disputes in Liberia. Delivering a special statement during the launch, Samuel Kwakio, chairman of Liberia Land Authorities, said for too long, land ownership in Liberia has been a serious national concern.
I am filled with pride and strong sense of purpose as I stand or sit before you today to express my heartfelt gratitude to you for accepting our invitation to celebrate a significant moment in Liberia land sector with the Liberia Land Authority family. Let me first and foremost acknowledge with gratitude His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Numa Boakai, Senior President of the Republic of Liberia, for trusting us with the responsibility to ensure that land governance and administration system in Liberia are well secured and protected in the interest of all Liberians. However, let us not forget, for too long, the issue of land ownership in Liberia has been a serious national security concern. Land disputes, if not given the needed attention, have the propensity to degenerate into conflict. Thus, my administration, since its inception, is working to ensure land-related disputes are adjudicated transparently, track revenue being generated, and enhance service delivery across the 15 counties of Liberia.
Liberian Authority head Samuel Bakio. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Central Bank of Liberia, with funding from the World Bank, have officially signed agreements with 7 financial institutions to provide credit to micro, small, and medium enterprises in the country. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Commerce Minister Mandalin Dagose called on would-be creditors to make best use of the opportunity, adding that the government is aware of the challenges of lending and repayment of credit by some Liberian businesses.
As we sign another agreement for the disbursement of 3.5 million to be lent to Liberian businesses, we are aware of the challenges that come with lending and repayment of loan in Liberia. Under the line of credit, the steering committee under the leadership has endorsed to engage financial institutions to find solutions to these challenges together. We have agreed with the participating financial institutions to be transparent in our approach, where interest rate and grace period under this fund will be based on actual market data. Based on the lesson learned during phase 1 implementation, the steering committee, with approval from the World Bank, decided to onboard microfinance institutions, MFIs, including Liberian MFI, who can reach to the length and breadth of Liberia. To you, our financial institution, we want to inform you that we will continue to monitor the coverage of the funds, the type of businesses and sector you are linked to. We have agreed with the World Bank that financial institutions that will lend to growth-oriented sector.
For his part, the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, Henry Samoa, called on the national legislature to enact laws that will strengthen the mechanism by financial institutions to speedily collect their resources put on credit.
Today marks a transformative moment in our collective journey towards inclusive economic development. This line of credit is designed to unlock new opportunities, enabling entrepreneurs to expand operations, invest in technology, hire more workers, and contribute meaningfully to our national development goals. Access to finance remains one of the most binding constraints to the development of Liberia's private sector, particularly for SMEs. And I'm proud to note that phase 1, valued at $2.5, has yielded encouraging results. As we expand access to finance under the line of credit,
Executive Governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, Henry Samoa. Earlier, you heard the voice of Minister of Commerce, Madeleine Dagozer. Monserrato County District 7 Representative Emmanuel Dan is urging Liberian students to remain perseverance in pursuit of their education. According to him, consistency and commitment are key in pursuing goal, adding that proper parental guidance for kids are also important.
Senator of your country, even the representative of your district, you are sitting right in this group as you look at you walk out today. Oh yeah, some of you might want to be the minister of finance. Some of you want to be ambassadors. Do not overlook it, because this is where it usually starts from. But I want you to also know that dream killer, in as much as you have this vision, there is a dream killer and it's always tying you down. And so I don't know how you want to persevere. I don't know how prepared you are to follow your dream, to actualize this vision of becoming who you want to become. We started the project with the former secret.
He's Emmanuel Dan, representative of Monserrato District 7, that's speaking during programs marking the closing graduation ceremony of the Matilda Nipot Junior High School in Monrovia. The National Elections Commission has announced the arrival of 41,800 ballot papers for the legislative by-election scheduled to take place in District 5, Nima County on August 12th of this year. Addressing a press conference In Monrovia Thursday, NEC co-chairperson Councillor Tapla Reeves disclosed that 751 Tactile Guard and 751 record of count also arrived along with the ballot papers.
The Board of Commission of the National Elections Commission of Liberia would like to inform the general public and its partner that on Wednesday, July 30th, NEC received consignment of ballot papers, Tata Guards, record of the counts in preparation for the 2025 House of Representatives by-election in Electoral District 5, Lima County. The Commission received in its central warehouse for training purposes 750 mock ballots, 1 pack mock Tata Guard, 1 pack mock record of the count. For the conduct of the by-election, for the 1,800 ballot papers, 751 Tata Guide, 750 record of the counts. District 5 statistics. Number of registered voters, 29,823. Number of voting precincts, 21. Number of polling places, 69.
NEC co-chairperson, Councillor Tapla Reeves. The superintendent of Monserrado County has presented 17-seater box, 1 motorcycle and 2 tricycles to the local government staffs in Bentor to address transport challenges. Speaking during the presentation ceremony, Superintendent Warwick Bryant said the initiative is to ensure that staff get to work in time and carry out their duties efficiently.
I'm not just excited, I'm re-energized. And what I applaud your excitement, I want you to also take today to reevaluate yourself, because there's certain things that will wearing that hard on you because you understand the constraint. So as you work to solve some of the constraints, it's our expectation that you also celebrating the dedication of an employee boss and try to cycle to our city with all the support from our county legislative caucus. I would say that it's important that will give them a huge, there will be always some disagreement and agreement, but at the end of the day, we all work hard, to improve the lives of our people in most. But
away from home, Barcelona players will have the our Congo Heart of Africa stripped on the back of their training sites after the start of next season. After the top Spanish football team agreed on a full-year deal with the Central African country. The partnership will reportedly cost the Democratic Republic of Congo 44 million euros, although the club has not disclosed the figure it will receive. A rebel group has seized large parts of eastern DR Congo this year, although a ceasefire has recently been agreed. The arrangement has forced criticism from some Congolese who have questioned their government's priorities, especially as its own football league have been plagued by chronic underfunding for years. And drastic cuts to humanitarian aid in northeastern Nigeria could prove a boon to one of the world's most deadly militant groups. Boko Haram aid agencies have warned. A reduction of funding in recent months has forced the UN's World Food Program to ration its support, and now it has completely run out. Notorious around the world for kidnapping more than 200 schoolgirls from town of Chibok more than a decade ago, Boko Haram has taken thousands of people captive during its raids and forced more than 1 million from their villages' homes. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the near end of this edition of King's News Broom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. House of Representatives suspends operations of Liberia Traffic Management, orders Ministry of Transport to resume all transport-related regulations, as dozens of Liberians, including employees of the Ministry of Transport, celebrates in Monrovia. Office of the Ombudsman demands suspension of 41 members of the National Legislature for failure to declare their assets. Councillor Fine Kanga says salaries of the 41 lawmakers must be redirected to public programs. You also heard in the news renowned human rights lawyer and political leader of Liberian People Party, criticizes President Joseph Boakai proclaimed national fast and prayer for government. Councilor Tiawan Gonglo tells the president to exert political will, transparency, and accountability for the country's transformation. Away from home, Barcelona players will have DR Congo out of Africa in street on the back of their training sites from the start of next season after the top Spanish football team agreed on a full-year deal with the Central African country. Drastic cuts to humanitarian aid in northeastern Nigeria will prove a bomb to one of the world's most deadly militant groups, Boko Haram. Aid agencies have warned. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom Resources. Stephen Conton brought you the news bulletin. Jenem Pasimen Sala Control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shema Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.